Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It is time for another round of speed reviews. So I tried 25 new products in March. Okay, to be fair, some of these I tried at the tail end of February and decided to roll them into March so I could test them more. But we have a ton of products to talk about for this month. Keep in mind there are a couple of products that I did try very recently, but that I want to spend more time with before I put them in as speed reviews. So if you don't see certain products in here that you might be expecting, that is why. So let's just hop right into it. We have some really bad and we have some absolutely amazing products. Coming in at number 25 is one that I tried recently, but I didn't actually share it. So this is the new Urban Decay Face Bond Foundation. This just came out the day that I'm filming this. It launched at Sephora. I did happen to get my hands on it a little early from another retailer that had sort of made it available early. I was super excited. I was going to post a foundation review and wear test. I couldn't. When I first got it in, I tried putting it on and it just looked so incredibly dry. And I thought, there is no way this product is that bad. But I ended up taking it off and I put on something else. And then I started filming a review and wear test a couple days later. It took me that long to want to try putting this on my face again. So I started filming the video and it was going better than the first time, but it still wasn't looking good. It was still looking really dry and I just could not make it work. It says you can apply with your fingers, with a brush, with a sponge. I literally tried all three methods. And if you're new here, I do not use my fingers for foundation. I absolutely hate that. I think it's a sensory thing. I can't stand it, but I tried it anyway because I wanted to make this work. I couldn't. It's so incredibly dry. It enhances any sort of dryness. It's starting to crack around certain spots before I even finish doing my makeup. Now I do have dry skin, so certain products just aren't meant for dry skin. My skin was prepped as always. It was incredibly dry. It was already settling into lines, and then I thought, you know what? Finish up your makeup, trust the process. I popped off camera to finish the rest of my makeup, and then I looked again, and now it's pilling in different spots, and I thought, I can't do this. So that is why that video never got posted, because I couldn't. This product is supposed to be amazing. It's supposed to be waterproof, sweat-proof, self-setting. It's infused with serum and setting powders. It's supposed to be just absolutely incredible. I hate saying this, but this is the very worst product I've tried in a really long time. So unfortunately, I absolutely do not recommend this. I don't normally return makeup, but I'm gonna try to return this because it's that awful on me. Getting into number 24 is actually from Huda Beauty, and this is one of the creamy palettes. This is the Greige Obsessions palette, and I was so excited for this one. So she released two of these. These are supposed to be all cream palettes for the most part. You do get some shimmers in here as well. The color story is absolutely stunning. I do have a history with her 9 pans. I always say that I've been burned by her 9 pans and I've been wowed by her 9 pans. And this is, I don't want to say I got burnt by these, but they're just not my favorite. So when I initially filmed my review, I had a hard time. It was definitely a learning curve working with all cream shadows. I can work with cream shadows, but I just had such a hard time figuring out this formula, the best way to use it. What I do understand is that these are best for minimal looks. Like if you want to do 1 to 2 shadow looks, I think these are nice. If you want to use one shadow and pop on a shimmer, I think these are nice. But if you try to do anything more complicated than that, it's just going to be a mess. On top of that, I think that if you do have oily lids, you're definitely going to want to prime. But even when I did prime and I used the set shade that is in here, I found that the wear time on these was still just not very good. So unfortunately, I don't love these palettes. I was disappointed in them. And number 23 is actually the brown palette, which I found a little bit easier to work with. Still a lot of the same complaints with the wear time, and I mean, you do need to keep it simple with this one as well, but this color story somehow ended up cooperating a little bit better for me. I did like the looks I came out with when it came to this palette instead of the other one, so I did like this one just a little bit more, so that's why it's at number 23, but overall, these were just absolutely not my favorite. They're not awful, and I think there are people who would definitely enjoy them. It's just, unfortunately, they're not for me. Coming in at number 22 is from MAC, and this is the Teddy Takeover Eye and Face Palette in Light. This is supposed to be a full face kit. I do enjoy these eyeshadows. I think the formula is great. I think it's really pretty, and I would definitely use these shades. That being said, I do think these shades are a little bit more fall inspired, so I would probably use this a lot more in the fall. And then if you slide these across, you get a highlighter. There are only 2 of these palettes, so this highlighter is not going to cover all skin tones in the light to medium range. I don't love it as a highlight, like I said. Honestly, it's probably going to be used as a lot more of an eyeshadow for me than a highlight on the face. It is too deep. This shade in the eyeshadow is going to be a much better highlight for me. I think the formulas in here are great. I 100% do not think this is worth $70, and that's why it's ranking so low. The color story is pretty, it's cute, I like it, but the highlight kind of takes away from it a little bit. I would have much rather had maybe more eyeshadows down there. I think that would have added maybe more value. Or blush, I think that would have added more value. But because it's a highlight, and it's not going to serve for everybody, I just don't think this is MAC's best work. I think the collection overall is cute. I think their packaging is super cute, but I think for this, they need to drop their price point a ton. I think it's nice. It's just not $70 nice. Next, I tried from Live Tinted the Hue Skin Brightening Core Setting Powder. So this one got me because powders don't normally get my attention this much, but this is what this one looks like. So you do have the setting powder on the outside, and then you have this white brightening core in the middle. This is in the shade Light. This is the lightest one they have, and that's kind of the problem. So you can use the brightening core under the eyes and then the rest to set your face, or you can mix them all together, whatever you want. I mix them all together and that works well for me, and then I use the white under the eyes. I think that looks fine. The problem is that this is the lightest one they have, and this outer portion is too deep for me. So I'm not going to get as much use out of this one as I had hoped, and I really expected great things. I like the way the powder looks on my skin for the most part. It can look a little bit heavy if I'm not careful, but I do like the way it looks. I think it's a really nice powder. I still think the concept is really, really cool. It's just that I'm a little sad that it's too deep for me when it's the lightest shade there is. At number 20, I have from Haus Labs the PhD Hybrid Lip Glaze Gloss. From here on, I don't hate any of these products, but this is a nice gloss. It's really shiny, it's really pretty, it's just, I don't think it's special. This one is in the shade Guava, and I think it's a beautiful shade. It's a thinner formula. I do like it. There are just gloss formulas I like a little better. There are some that are just a little bit shinier. I don't know, this just didn't wow me. It's not a bad product, it doesn't do anything special for me. So coming in at number 19 is from Tower 28, and this is their Lip Softy Tinted Lip Treatment. This is a really nice one. So this is in Blood Orange Vanilla. They were really limited on the shades, but this is a really nice one. This is one that it smells really, really good. I will give it that. It smells good, and it even leaves kind of like a cool shade on the lips. So it is sort of like a red balm. It's just, it is a much thinner balm, and I find with the applicator being round like this, it's not as easy to get sort of an even coat, especially when you're working with a red lip balm. I also just find it to be very thin, and I don't think it does much. It's really shiny, it's a pretty shade, and it smells good. It doesn't do much more than that, so I really wouldn't call it a lip treatment. There's nothing wrong with it. I'll definitely use it. I like it. It's just that I wouldn't call it a lip treatment. I just think it's a really pretty gloss, if anything. Coming in at number 18 is from Too Faced, and this is the Born This Way Warm Ember Nudes mini eyeshadow palette. This is one of the little mini palettes that they released this month. I like this one. I think it's very, very pretty. I do have a full review up of these as well. I think the formula in here is really, really nice. I don't have their Born This Way palette, but I do have the Sunset Strip, which is, I think, is supposed to be the same formula. And the formulas in those palettes are their best. The ones that they come out as sort of like a seasonal novelty, those aren't their best work. This type of formula is the same as what's in the Born This Way palettes, and it's a great formula. This just isn't the most reach for color story for me, so that's why I dropped it down. I also like that it does have this little latch here at the bottom. I think that's cute for some reason. I think that's a really nice little touch. I think they did a good job with these. This just isn't my favorite color story of the two. Coming in at number 17 is from About Face, and this is the Performer Skin Focus Foundation. I really liked this. This is really nice. It's really long wearing. It's $22. It's available at Ulta. It has a doe foot applicator, which I actually think is nice. I know some people are going to hate that. I think this is a really nice foundation. It had a really good wear time. It had a pretty nice finish to the skin. I don't feel like I need to powder this, which is something I really, really like and value in a foundation. I think it's beautiful. The only thing that dropped it down a little bit is that it does kind of have a tendency to sometimes look a little bit drier, which I don't like. I already have dry skin. I don't need help. But I still think this is a really, really nice foundation. It made my skin look beautiful. Coming in at number 16 is from Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the new Pillow Talk Big Lip Plumpgasm. So I did try this one very, very recently. For some reason, I didn't put the Pillow Talk Fair lipstick and liner in this ranking, but just know I love them and that they land near the top. But this is the Big Lip Plumpgasm Plumping Gloss. This is in this shade Pillow Talk Fair Medium. So they do have a deeper one, which is a berry shade. This I have an interesting relationship with. I really like the doe foot. I like that it comes to a point so you can kind of get around that lip line. This is going to give your lips a really beautiful glassy effect. It looks so shiny and so beautiful. What I don't love is that it does burn. It is one of the more painful plumping glosses that I've tried. So if you really don't like that, definitely pass on this, but it does look really, really pretty. I can live with it. I can deal with it. I can deal with the tingle. It has like this strange cold to hot sort of effect. It's really interesting, but if you don't like a painful tingle, definitely skip this. It's pretty. It just hurts a bit. Coming in at number 15 is from Viseart. This is the Petite Fours Asperities palette. This is a really pretty palette. I love the Viseart formula. I mostly love their mattes. I actually just wore this the other day and I love it so much. The only thing is that this shimmer, it looks so pretty to look at. It looks pretty on camera, but on the eyes, it seems like it's a little bit lackluster. So I was a little disappointed in that. So this isn't going to be my most reach for color story, and that's why I ranked it a little bit lower. Coming in at number 13 and 14, I'm just going to put them together. These are both from the MAC Teddy Forever collection. So I have the lip liner in Deeply Teddy, and I have the lipstick in Eternal Teddy. I love both of these formulas. I would say the lipstick is 13, the liner is 14. The liners are a little bit dry, but still an excellent long wearing formula. The lipstick is in their Retro Matte line, so it is very long wearing. My only complaint is the launch time of these. These shades are definitely more of a fall color story, so I would definitely reach for these a lot more in the fall months. Otherwise, the shades are absolutely beautiful. It's definitely a beautiful deeper tone if that's what you're going for. I really like them. You know I love a good MAC lipstick, so I'm thrilled to have these. Coming in at number 12 is from Haus Labs. This is the Bio Radiant Gel Powder Highlighter in Rose Quartz. This is one that I did get in February and let it roll over to this month, so I have more time to try it out. This is a blush for me. It's definitely a very glowy blush. I can use it as a regular blush. I can use it as a blush topper. It's beautiful. It's definitely very shiny, but it's so blendable and it gives so much life to the cheeks. I do love this. Really is a nice formula. I do want to get one in my highlighter shade because I think that would be stunning. Coming in at number 11 is the other Too Faced mini palette. This is the Cold Smolder Nudes, and you can tell why I love this right away. This is a beautiful, Cool Tone Dream of a Color Story. This one I actually was able to kind of dupe directly with the Natasha Denona Glam palette, so if you already have this one, I don't recommend grabbing this, but it is such a beautiful color story. I always love the look I come out with when I use this palette. I just think it's so pretty, so easy to work with. You can go so deep and smoky with this. You can keep it a little lighter if you want to as well. And again, the formula on these is actually really good. Coming in at number 10 is from LYS, and this is their new blush stick in the shade Curvy. I like this a lot. This is definitely a glowier blush. This is a more peachy tone, and I do think it's a stunning shade. I've worn this quite a few times. I think it's so pretty. I do prefer to take it off the stick with a brush, just so that it's easier to blend, easier to work with, but it's such a pretty shade. Again, very long wearing, very easy to use, super blendable. I would say more blendable even than the bronzer stick, which is already quite blendable. But I think this is an absolutely beautiful formula. I think the reason it came in at number 10 is because there were some incredible products this month, but also because I don't necessarily reach for a stick that often. Otherwise, this is amazing. Coming in at number 9 is the other Viseart palette I tried, and this is the Isolde palette. So this one is more of a neutral brown, and I did not think this would end up being my favorite, but it is. These shimmers are just so much more shimmery than the ones in the Esperides palette, and this brown color story just speaks to me. I think it's so beautiful, so stunning. Again, those mattes working together. We do really only have one true matte in here, then we have a satin, and then we have 2 shimmery shades. They are very shiny, so I absolutely love these. I think Viseart did a great job with this collection. I was fully expecting to love the Esperides palette way more, but the Isolde palette definitely got me. Coming in at number 8 is one of the new shades from Patrick Ta. This is the Double Take Cream and Powder Blush in Not Too Much. So I recently mentioned this in my Sephora recommendations video. I love this shade so much. This is a beautiful everyday neutral color story. It's so flattering, so easy to wear. It's not too much, just like the name suggests, and it's such a great everyday blush. I want to wear it all the time. The cream definitely intensifies it and makes it a little more intense, but it's still so stunning. So if you're on the fair side and his blushes have kind of deterred you in the past from being too vibrant, this might be a great option. Coming in at number 7 is from Dior, and this is the Forever Glow Maximizer in the shade Pink. I do have this on today, just on top of my cheekbones. So this is a liquid highlighter, and this is one I said initially that I could have skipped this one, but I do think it's really pretty. I did get the shade Pink because I was thinking that perhaps I would use it as a blush, but it is too light for that. I do like to just put it on top of my cheekbones, blended it with a sponge, and it just gives a really pretty soft radiance. It's not at all glittery. It's just very pretty. So I've been really enjoying this. At number 6, I tried out the Gucci concealer because somehow I managed to get it on sale, and this is in the shade 12C. I love this concealer. So this one gives such a nice high medium coverage, but it's also very lightweight, and it's so blendable, so easy to work with. It has not beat my Natasha Denona because that one, just the coverage on that one, the blendability, the hydration, but this is a really nice one, and I've been getting a ton of use out of this one. Coming in at number 5 is from Makeup by Mario, and this is the Master Mattes The Neutrals. I love this palette. This is an all matte palette. I did not expect to love this quite so much. I've heard a lot of differing opinions on the original Master Mattes. I've heard some people say it's the best thing in the world. I've heard people say that it's not that special. I like it. I do. I think the Patrick Ta formula is a little bit better. It's a little bit more blendable, but this is still super beautiful. And what I love about these shades is that they really are these true neutrals. They really, you do get some cooler shades down here, but the rest of these browns are just exactly what you're looking for when you're going into those true neutrals. If you look at the Patrick Ta All Matte, you get a warmer row and you get a cooler row, whereas these sit right in the middle, and I think they're absolutely beautiful. Coming in at number 4 is from Ole Henriksen, and this is the Pout Preserve Peptide Lip Treatment. This is my new favorite lip balm. This is so pretty. So this does have a bit of a tint to it as well. It also smells really good. This one is in Strawberry Sorbet, and you can see it's just a really pretty light pink. Very beautiful. You got a nice applicator on this one as well. And this one is nice because it feels very thick and it feels so deeply hydrating. Like I said, the Tower 28 is very thin, whereas this one is a lot thicker and it really feels like it's giving you that deep hydration that you're looking for. So I really do love this lip balm. And coming in at number 3, we have the Natasha Denona Hyper Natural Face Palette. So I really like this. This is such a beautiful palette from Natasha. I've enjoyed her face palettes in the past, but this one was nice because typically she puts creams in here, and I just don't love that because they do tend to dry out. So this, I really, really liked this concept. So you have 5 shadows that are meant to be one and done shades. You have 2 blush shades, or you can mix them together. And then you have these 3 bronzer contour shades. You have the lightest one, which is a perfect contour for me. The middle one is beautiful as a bronzer, and this deeper one I don't really use as much. With the blushes, the lighter one I tend to find a little too pastel, so I mix them together and they look beautiful. The eyeshadows are absolutely stunning. I love to pop on either Everyday or Soft, and then I'll top it with Dreamy, and I just think they're so pretty. I find this palette so easy to use. It really is the perfect everyday palette. I'm always pleasantly surprised when I reach for this palette. This is another one that I do wish that she had come out with one for deeper skin tones, because I do think that is really missing here. However, the palette on its own is absolutely beautiful, and I would not mind seeing more of this format from Natasha in the future, because I do think this is an excellent palette. I've reached for it so many times. I have so much fun with it. I think it's an excellent palette. Coming in at number 2 is from Givenchy, and this is their Prism Libre Enhanced Radiance Loose Powder. So this is one that has been so popular for a couple of years at this point. I was adamantly refusing to buy it no matter how popular it got, because I don't really like those powders. I think they're messy. But everybody kept raving about this, and then Nikki LaRose raved about it. And she even said it's perfect for dry skin. And then I think Morgan Turner also commented that it's perfect for dry skin. So here I am, and it's my new favorite powder of all time. This has surpassed the Kosas. This has surpassed the Charlotte Tilbury. I love this. So those powders were my absolute favorites. I love them. They're lightweight. They feel really nice. They really lock everything in place. This, though, has some sort of magic that sets the under eyes and wherever else you want on the face. Also blurs. It literally looks like a filter on the skin. I don't have anything that literally does that. I've heard people say it, but I've always thought in my head, like, I don't really think that exists. I don't think you can find something that perfecting. This is it. This is that perfecting. This is the most beautiful powder. I should mention I have the shade 2 Satin Blanc, so it's the second lightest one. It's so beautiful. I love what it does for my skin. I love how it keeps my makeup looking all day long. I like to do it under the eyes and then down the center of my face, and it actually keeps this area from breaking up and looking awful by the end of the day. It is such an impressive product. I didn't want to love this as much as I do because it is so expensive, but it's every bit as wonderful as everybody says it is. But coming in at number 1 is a product I did review as soon as it came out, and this is from Dior. This is the Forever Glow Star Filter. So this was their attempt to dupe the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, and in my opinion, Dior did it better. I think this is such a beautiful product. So the Charlotte Tilbury I really like, but it can have almost like a metallic, overly glowy look to it, whereas this is perfect. So this is a lot more skincare based than the Charlotte Tilbury. It does come in a pump, which I also think is nice. And this can be used as your base before foundation. You can use it to mix into foundations. You can use it to just spot highlight, whatever you want. So I have used this as a base many times, and I always love how my skin looks. It's not too glowy, but it does give such a beautiful radiance that looks like it's coming from within the skin. I think it's so beautiful, so flattering. I have also used this. I do have the shade 0. I have used this to mix into foundations that are either too deep for me or a little too matte to see if I can cut the product a little bit, and it makes them so much better. This is also designed to work very well with the Dior Forever Glow foundation, and I have never liked that foundation. For one, the shade I have is too deep, but I've just really never loved the way it sits on my skin. I mix this in with it and I love it. So now I'm getting use out of a lot more products because I just have to mix this in and everything is fixed. I love this. This is an absolutely incredible product from Dior. This is one that, should I ever run out of it, I would repurchase this. This is expensive, it's Dior, but I would repurchase this product. Like the Charlotte Tilbury, I have no plans to repurchase that. I also have the e.l.f., which I also feel is a little bit too glowy, metallic, too shiny. This though is just absolutely perfect in every way, and because it helps me get use out of other complexion products that I otherwise haven't loved that much, this just adds so much value to my collection. This was 100% worth it. So I love this. I can't recommend this enough. And that is it. Those are the 25 products I tried in March. Like I said, there are some products I tried. I just haven't spent enough time with them to feel comfortable putting them in as speed reviews. I don't know why I didn't put the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Fair in here, but just know that it would rank somewhere in the 3 or 4 range because I really, really love that one. But let me know down below the favorite products you tried in the month of March. Did you try anything new? Are you getting excited for the sale? Are you even shopping the sale? Just let me know whatever's on your mind. I love hearing from you guys so much. And if you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!